I go by Lisa. I work in an office and am 25 years old. Since I'm meeting my boyfriend's parents today, I'm really anxious. Ted, my boyfriend, is 29 years old and 4 years older than me. He invited me out, and we began dating once we started working at the same company. He proposed to me after we had been dating for approximately a year and a half. It would be best to get married and have a family as soon as possible, even if I believed that marriage was a little early for me based on my own experiences. I chose to accept his proposal as a result. We'll show up shortly. Hold on, I'm not quite ready. We're merely meeting with my parents before the wedding. That's the most nerve-wracking aspect, really. You'll probably feel anxious when you visit my mother's place, too. You don't have a scary father, therefore no, I won't. No, but my mother is more terrifying. Really? I'm not serious. What? I was afraid of you. You see why I'm a little anxious now, don't you? We got to his parents' place. Whoa, this house is awesome, isn't it? The home of his parents was situated on a sizable amount of land and had an opulent, elegant appearance. Yes, I do take pride in my parents' home. When people first see it, they are always taken aback. His parents opened the front door and greeted us then. You've really come a long way, don't you think? Enter now. I felt a little relieved when his parents grinned and said hello. We also have some candies for you. Sorry, but they don't stand out. It's delicious. I love chocolate. I cherish them. I've also got some tea for you. These teacups appear quite costly. Amazing. You have an excellent eye, I see. That's why you're engaged. These teacups each cost $2,000. Does it really cost that much? His parents' arrogant claims to affluence irritated me a little. They appeared to be beginning to reveal their true colors, despite their initial kindness. Ted had always claimed that his parents' home was wonderful as well, but he was modest enough to point out that my grandfather's generation was the ones who made all the money and were only getting by. But because his parents took such pride in their wealth, they adopted an almost superior attitude. His parents used the investments they acquired from their grandfather to support themselves while residing in the home he left behind. I understand that you and Ted are employed by the same company. Indeed, I do. Whoa, you were accepted into the esteemed organization despite being a woman. Did he say that despite my gender? Feminists across will erupt if you share that on Twitter. You also received your degree from a top-notch university. Although Lisa has an unremarkable appearance, she excels at both home and her profession. What have you just said? My face is just like any other? Are you disparaging me informally? Ted, you are so incredibly disrespectful. It makes sense that you could be a little picky if your standard is based on me, a former model. However, it would be unfair to suggest that she is facing a regular face. I understand. Lisa, I apologize. It's all right, I guess. I recognize that his parents are inconsiderate because that is their natural disposition. However, I didn't anticipate that my fiancé would begin acting in this manner. Given that he's at his parents' place, it's possible that he's feeling a little more at ease than usual. I started to question whether or not marrying him was the right decision. I'm sure I'll interact with his parents more frequently if he gets married. I questioned whether I could handle the hurtful things he would say to me every time. Not too long after, something happened that made me lose all patience. Lisa, may I ask what your father does for a living? I was reared at the home of my maternal grandparents after my father passed away in an accident when I was very little. I'm trying my hardest in my current job because I want to be like my mother, who is still employed now. Ted's father interrupted me with a somber expression on his face while I was telling him about my mother. How come? You have no father at all? His mother's expression is also one of displeasure. That's not ideal. As I mentioned earlier, our family is wealthy. We have a lot of wealth. The impoverished have no place here. We are declaring that we will not allow our son to wed a low-income girl from a low-income fatherless home. We were almost duped by you. I used to think Ted's employer was a really good one, but apparently things have gotten worse. He began creating impossible F-statements after his parents verbally attacked me with a series of impossible phrases. She was obviously not excellent. I'm almost 30, so I figured I'd take the easy route. I assumed she would do a fantastic job as a housekeeper because she is very adept at cleaning. Alright, so I guess it doesn't make up for her fatherless situation. Ted, what are you discussing? You asked me to marry you, right? It's like you love me. No, please, give me a moment. Not in a manner. I choose you as my spouse since you didn't seem like a huge spender and you follow my instructions. It's truly a blessing to marry into a family with such money. No, Ted. I'll find her a nice substitute female. Really? What if I kept Lisa? In any case, you have aged. If you wait too long, you could not find someone good, even if you're affluent. Alright, I get it. As much as possible, I wanted to attempt to stay away from arranged marriage. My patience wears thin. Naturally, I also wouldn't get married to you. I rose and walked out of his parents' home. Not that it surprises me that he didn't even pursue me. I genuinely question why I wasted my time with a mother and father like that. What exactly are those guys? Without knowing anything about my mother, they insulted her. I went to my parents' place because I was so irritated. Hello, Lisa. Mom, what's wrong? Hear me out. Today I visited the parents of my fiancé. I filled my parents and mother in on my entire day. Yes, it's true that there are bad people in the world. The house is where? Father, it might be someone you rent the land to. My grandfather claimed to know where his parents' residence was when I told him his name and its location. It seems to have been one of my grandfather's many properties. Then, following even more shocking disclosures, I made the decision to return to his parents' home. I was accompanied by my mother, who appeared to be upset about the circumstances. I went to his parents' house and rang the doorbell. Whoa, you're back. Lisa, what in the world is going on? After you left, how could you have shown your face in that way? It's too late if you ask us to marry our son. You see, Mom, these people really are jerks. They truly are. They resemble spoilt social garbage that has never experienced adversity. Please forgive me. Takes guts to offend us like that. You truly went too far. You're clueless. But you have serious problems. By what do you mean? I'm gonna ask everyone to get out of my house. How in the heck are you discussing this? Get out of the house? That kind of threat would be unthinkable from even an elementary school student. Aren't you folks simply so illiterate? Without any proof, how can we tell you this? By what do you mean? Allow me to clarify. From this place, your father inherited the land that my father, a landowner, had possessed. Put another way, the grandfather of Lisa's boyfriend. After investigating, we discovered that the rent was 3 years past due. And the rent? What is that? You wouldn't know, I suppose. About 3 years ago, your father, who had been paying us for a long time, passed away. That implies, I suppose, that you were not even made aware that land rent existed. However, my father reminded you numerous times. None of those were ever given to me, correct? Well, perhaps that explains the monthly envelopes that arrive for around. I'm not sure. Every time I threw them away. Consequently, you have been getting all of the land rent notifications. Please leave this place right away since we cannot have any past due rent. His parents appear to be inconsolable. You can't just tell us something this intimate out of the blue. Yes, it is correct. After all this time, I can't believe I have to give up this place. My in-laws passed away at last, and I now own the house. Hey, you talk like that about my parents, how dare you? I apologize. It simply slipped away. How do you intend to proceed? This land is definitely not cheap. That's got to be a lot of land rent. 3 years worth? I'm telling you, you will still have to vacate even if you pay the rent. Oh no. My grandfather stated he will no longer put up with it. He's in the process of finding a new tenant. Oh no. Oh, my laborious efforts. I never would have married such an ugly man if I could not have gotten this mansion. Hi, what are you trying to say there? Later on, the two of you can quarrel. Furthermore, you had before made fun of my mother, even though she is the company's president. It's not fair to presume that just because I don't have a father, we're impoverished. It's simply so ridiculous. You used to be a model, too, and you're just so arrogant. In addition, I will let the others at work know about Ted's previous remark that he chose me to be the cleaner. If not, there could be more victims similar to myself. Put an end to it. Mom, let's go. Now that I was able to talk to my mother about everything I wanted to, I feel so much better. He and his parents made the incorrect choice in who to argue with. Following that, my grandfather was able to find a new tenant and the landman was successfully collected. After being forced out of their home, his parents are currently going through a contentious divorce and are still at odds about how to divide their assets. I, of course, broke up with Ted. Additionally, Ted's employer no longer likes him and his female coworkers have started to stare at him icily ever since I told people about this incident at work. His reputation at work is deteriorating daily, and he was never very good at it to begin with. He appears to be struggling as a result of the circumstances, and there are rumors that he will be moved to another department shortly. He is truly deserving. However, I also discovered that it's best to pursue my passions rather than jumping into marriage. That's why I'm giving my task my best. To fulfill my dream, I wish to become very experienced at a prestigious company and take over my mother's business. I'm going to keep my attention on the task at hand each day. I appreciate you seeing.